stream and go from there.
I will take control and I'll never yield it till it's your turn, of course. Okay, it's merged.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we are there live. We're connected to LinkedIn. We got a couple of minutes, so we'll just chill here for a moment. Although I think everything that's happening right now might get. I don't know what happens. Is like when we hit go live on LinkedIn, does it start at that point stream, or since we went live on Huddle, is the beginning of that live session what goes live on LinkedIn? I don't know actually. I guess
I don't either, but I feel like I've seen things from what I thought was before we were actually posting.
Yeah.
Pop up sometimes on
Yeah.
Netflix on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we're big surprise. We're launching a Netflix show.
Yeah,
we're gonna be on Netflix. They signed us a nice fat deal. Turns out we're incredibly popular.
Yeah, surprising even us.
Well, if that's the case, I'm just gonna hit go live, and they'll probably get all of this. But then at least we'll be live, and we won't. It won't be my typical 3 minutes after. Hurry up! Click the button.
Today was my last day at the donut shop.
Okay, we can. Yeah, well, welcome everybody. Courtney is no longer working at the donut shop.
I'm no longer the donut master of TNY Bakery.
You're still the donut master in our hearts, though.
And my own as well. Yeah, no, I'm excited to get regular sleep again. That's really the thing I'm looking most forward to.
Yeah, those early morning donut hours.
You know what? The hungry people of LA need their sugar fix, and for a time, I was one of the ones providing exactly that.
But no longer.
No longer. Which is great. I feel great about that. I honestly feel. Have you ever quit jobs? You ever had like some kind of day job that you quit?
I mean, I've shifted day jobs. I don't know if there was. I'm having a hard time coming up with a moment.
That's
where
what I
it was
mean.
Just like I'm done with this and I'm out. Like I don't think I've done that. But
Okay. But even shifting, have you ever shifted from something that you just didn't quite like to something better and just felt like, wow, I feel free now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel that way now. Let me tell you.
That's good. That's a good feeling. That's great.
It is a very good
feeling. You are the master of your own destiny once again, for better or worse.
Yeah. For better or for worse, we will see. Stay tuned. This stream could get a lot more interesting. No, yeah, I'm doing okay. How about you? What's going on with you, Spencer?
Doing all right. It's been a busy week. It's been a successful week, a productive week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I managed to make a pretty good step forward, or a couple of steps forward on the integration I'm working on at Nebulae right now. So I had been working on communication between the front end and the back end, and then also communication in that sync around to like the escrow.com API. But there's a point at which when transactions that are logged through their system have state updates, like you're moving through the contracting process from it being created to agreement to payment, all these different steps, they send a signal, and we needed a back-end endpoint that would accept that signal and then verify it and then update the matching transaction within our database so that everything's in sync, right? And I got all of that working.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So for like creating a transaction, which was mostly all working before, but it was just this extra element of like, once the transaction is created on their system, we're going to get a return. The front end, you click create contract. The front end talks to the back end. Back end makes the signal to escrow.com. And then you get a return through that same system to say, hey, it was created. But then separate from that, escrow.com also sends this state update signal directly to the back end through that other endpoint. So you've got two signals kind of going through the back end at the same time to like synchronize with everything. So create contract, when both parties agree to the contract, there's also a state update happening there. And then I also got canceling the contract working. So all of those three fully functional, which is pretty sweet.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So then there's more to do, but like now with that infrastructure kind of in place, I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that the next, series of contract interactions that I need to enable on our platform is going to be much simpler because I have all of that already in place. It's going to be just kind of like
Hmm.
more of the same, not having to create that system while also getting the interaction working. So I'm very happy with that amount of productivity and movement forward. Otherwise, I really wanted to touch Remix all week, and I did not get a chance. But I did spend some time in my spare time watching through like kind of a intro, like hour and a half or so tutorial about like kind of the core aspects. So I have a little bit of a better understanding there, which is nice. And I'm just looking forward to doing some remix.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, let me tell you something. Do I have a deal for you? We're about to get into some remix today.
Yes, I was
Um,
really hoping. Thank you so much.
and maybe we just jump right into it. Um, what Spencer and I questionably decided to do right before this was migrate our project that we've already been building in Next into its own folder within our Upskill and Chill repo, and then we're going to start a new project inside of Remix, a new Remix folder that is. So for all of you following at home, I had to navigate into the Remix folder. Otherwise, this is going to be a very confused file and file structure. So with that in mind, I want to point out when starting a new remix project, there are multiple ways. What I'm going to do today, just in an effort to get started and get things going with kind of a general scaffolding, I'm just going to use create remix as per the docs. But you can also build a more custom version where you have a little more control over every single thing going on in terms of setup. And the docs under Quick Start actually will walk you through what that looks like essentially, and then you can make changes as to what suits you. I have not dug into all that at this point. I'm still very new to Remix, so for me, really just like getting pages to render and everything is the name of the game. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and run this command. Always an exciting moment. But bam. What do we want to call this? I guess we'll call this to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of see what the experience is like to make again a to-do app, but with a new framework now. So to-do app seems adequate.
We don't need a new Git repository.
Nope.
We will install with npm. Fewer questions than a typical Next project. I think for one, I'm not actually sure if with Create Remix, if you can use plain JavaScript. I think you have to use TypeScript.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they just force you into it, which is fine. Also, I mean, one nice thing about Create Next app is that it'll just put Tailwind in there for you if you want it to, which is kind of nice.
So does Create Remix.
It does.
Turns out.
Okay.
Yeah. Tailwind is in the box or out of the box or however you put that. Yeah. What else is different? I mean, it's same opening a new repo. I guess it gives you the option when you're using Create Next app. Okay, here we go. So now we have our fancy new Remix app. I'm just going to go ahead and run dev. And
Tailwind is there, and it didn't ask us. It's just like, no, you're going to have Tailwind.
What doesn't it like?
Do you need to install in npm? That's what you were just doing.
That's what I was doing. So let's see.
Okay.
No such file or directory. Slash package.json.
I think you need to go inside of to-do app. To-do app is a new directory.
You are so right. You are so right. So we're going to
weird double nesting thing that happens when we create stuff. I run into that all the time.
Do you like this? Hey, we like this one.
Yeah, like on my computer, I've got the Upskill and Chill directory, and then within that, I have Upskill and Chill directory, because that was the next directory that we created. So it's
That's
just
right.
that,
That's
that
right.
that double nesting. If you're not careful about how you like where you instantiate your project and how you do it in those setup things, then you get the nested weird stuff.
Ooh, ah,
Pretty.
this is very pretty. Also, I'd like to point out that I'm not sure if there's a reason that we're using port 5173, but
They just got to
we're
be
really
different,
looking
man.
like the hipsters of the port world right now.
3000
Okay,
is like, I knew about
so old hat.
5173 before it was cool.
Yeah, way before it was cool. Okay, well, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and commit this just because that is a lot of change to make. Started a whole new app.
I've got
First commit.
some
Yes.
interesting stuff. I pulled down your changes here, and I'm looking at some like kind of files hanging around that
Ooh, really?
it's kind of odd that they're hanging around.
Which ones are you looking at?
Like a .env, next env.d.ts,
Oops.
.next.
Oh, this, no, no.
Yeah,
Dot
next
.env.
env.d.ts, that
Oh, okay.
one, and then like my .env. Like
Interesting.
these
It
did.
came into
I
your
wonder.
changes?
Those are ignored by Git.
Oh, yeah, so you have to delete those on your own or move them on
I
your own.
probably just have to move them. Yeah, that's what I'm just
Yeah.
realizing. Is like those are ignored by Git in the first place. So that's why they didn't.
Right. So, for all of you at home, I was the one that committed these changes, uh, so I already moved all of my my untracked folders and files, which is why Spencer is not seeing his moved because I can't take care of those.
Okay. That was okay. Yeah. I just had to talk that out loud for a second.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good to remember because it hadn't even occurred to me that we would need to do that. So I'm glad you
There
said
we go.
something.
Now I think that everything's like back in place the way it's supposed to. So I just have I've got our hidden .git and our next in the upskill and chill. The nested upskill and chill inside of upskill and chill.
Right? it's like
Uh,
uh, it's like codingception.
and then are you pushing the new remix?
I pushed it to my branch.
Oh, to your branch. Okay, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll get
go
to
through
that
the
later.
process and then merge it in and I'll pull it. That's fine. We can do that later. Yeah.
Okay, so with that in mind, uh, I opened up our actual app. Um, just a little look around. A lot of this looks pretty familiar. We have a README. We have our Tailwind config. We have our TypeScript configuration. We also have Vite, since that's what powers, or Vite, it's what powers Remix. We have our usual git ignore, package.json, linter, and such. In our public file, this is, I think, where our icons and such are going.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then node modules, no problem there. And then we have our app. So inside of our app, Tailwind file. This looks pretty common, pretty normal. Looks like it already has some dark mode support written in. I think usually in Next we only have these at the
Yeah,
top.
I
Is that
think
right?
that's just specifically for their like splash page. So once we remove all the
I
splash
see.
page stuff, we'll probably get rid of that for everything from line 5 and down.
And honestly, I might just do that right now.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
Start
We
removing things that we don't need. Speaking of, let's go to the root. So the root is essentially our layout. And I know we went over this a little last week, but just to review, kind of looks a lot more like when you're developing with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all plain. In the You actually have your HTML and your meta, your head, your body, everything, your scripts and links and everything listed in here. In this layout functional component, and then inside of routes, if we hit index, this is sort of our actual root view, you might say, our slash view. This is where the icons are being displayed, um, and it's kind of cool because you can kind of see just a little bit of their how they see the design pattern. So, for instance, I think this is in the layout in a Next app, but you can change the title here. We'll call this to do app. Or, I mean, we could even call it Upskill and Chill. I'm not sure where these actually take effect, because if we navigate to the page, oh, look at that.
It's
Yeah.
all you ruined it.
Well,
You broke it.
there's no more dark mode. Oops.
My
But
eyes.
there's no part there that has our description text or welcome to remix text. So I don't know where that actually is supposed to come in. But you can see I've
Well,
already renamed it to
yeah,
do
the to
app
do
up
app.
here.
Yeah, the description. I think that's the metadata that would show up on a search result on like a Google page.
Ah,
It would show up like the to do app, like remix to do app, whatever would be like the link, and then our description. I mean, maybe the name would be along with the content there. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's the metadata that would be displayed in like a web crawler. It would grab that, or in the search results, um,
okay.
that sort of stuff.
Well, with that in mind, I don't think we need any of this. We can probably.
Probably not. So is this underscore index thing? Is that something that we would use on? No, we wouldn't do that with our own routing further on. That's just like the root route. That's going to be underscore index. Because I was still thinking in a next context where you're making directories for your routing, but we're not doing that. We have those files with those like ludicrous file names that are interpreted by React Router, which is what this is built on.
That is correct. Yeah,
So,
we would just name it what we want to name it.
oh, there you
This
found it.
here.
Okay, I was just looking for this route file name. Oh, it's in route file naming. Okay,
Yeah.
under
So basically, what
file
we're saying is
conventions. Okay,
file name maps to the route's URL path name, except for underscore index, which is the index route for the root route.
okay. So we just have one of those. Okay, and
Yeah,
then
and I have
root.
this handy little example down here.
root
The slash will correspond to our
yeah,
underscore index. Everything else will match a convention, which is I guess it's like we're not going to create folders like in Next. Like so let's start with to do.
So what I'm seeing here is that root.tsx is going to wrap our entire app. That is the base level of our entire app. Everything from routes is going to end up coming through the children of root.tsx. And then that underscore index just operates again as our slash route, our most basic route. And then from there, we can make additional routes, but it's all, again, going to be going through root.tsx.
That's right.
Okay, that's our
As I
top level
understand it.
layout. Okay.
So with that in mind, I've created our root route basically, which should, if I navigate back to our app,
All right, here we go.
right out of the gate, expected but found. Where are we looking? We are looking kind of.
do.tsx.
Oh yeah.
So there's maybe a little formatting issue with maybe what you deleted.
Let's see.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it
Let's see.
was for our to do
Oh,
route, but I think it's
oh,
maybe just that it just needed a second. Yeah, there we
there we
go.
go. Look at that. You're already a remix master.
The remix master. Okay, so now we have our to do. What I'm not sure about and not familiar with is how we componentize. So, for instance, in our to do page, originally, actually, I don't have to think about it. I can just go back over here. We have our app, we have our to do, and inside of our components, we had our own library of components that belong to do. Right, we had our to do form, we had our inputs, we had individual tasks and buttons and such. Let me
Yeah.
see. Where
So
is to do? Here we go. So we had.
that's
I
the
guess most of it
page.
was actually in the page.
That's the
There
page
wasn't that
pulling
much
in the
going on,
task
right?
component. Yeah. So for componentizing or componentizing, I don't know.
Componentizing. Yeah.
Whatever, whichever. So in the remixed project, I think what we'll do is within the app directory, we would make a components folder.
I see. In the app directory. Okay.
Yep, we're gonna make components there. and then we can just make React components and then import them into our routes. So all the files inside of routes, whichever, those are going to be
Mhm.
our pages. So again, thinking it's not exactly the same thing, but like thinking a little bit in that terms of like server and it's not really going to be like server side and client side the way that we're more familiar with it, but still that idea of like thinking pages and then components, right?
That
So
makes sense. And I'm wondering how much. I'm very curious, like how much we can just like port over, and how
yeah,
much will need to be changed.
yeah,
It's like
because it's still
because you
all
can
just
see.
React. So I think the changes are going to be necessary inside of the route files, whereas our components, I think, can just continue to be what they are. But I
Well, and
also
there's also the loader to contend with because what we don't have right now is access to any of this data. Um,
right.
so, for instance, our tasks, anything I could create sample tasks that we could just render on the page to make sure it's working. But for now, let's see. So, for one, we'll want to redo the to do form, right? Or we'll want to bring that in.
Can we?
Yeah,
Um,
hit me.
I was thinking if we make just like we have our to do route, we know that that generates stuff there.
Hmm.
Can we set up a loader on the to do route and then just and use Prisma and pull the stuff from our database and then just throw it on the page?
I think so. Um,
Let's just get like the
well,
data
what do you think
present, and then
the
we can
preferred
worry about
order
like
is?
putting it through a component later if we can just kind of like toss it out there.
We should probably start with Prisma then, right? Um, so that we actually have data to load.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're the
So with
Prisma master.
yeah, the Prismaster. Let's see.
Love it.
And I guess where'd we put that last time? Was it the same level as app? It was. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a folder called Prisma. See if I can remember all my Prisma commands. Let's build our client the same way. Curious if this has any issues or changes.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how much stuff just kind of like slips right in if Remix. I mean, Remix is the framework, so that's really just more so like the full stack integration, how it does the client and server side back and forth.
Right.
But then the other elements of it, I imagine, would be fairly similar. We'll find out.
Stay tuned.
We could just
Okay.
we could just become really good at porting Next apps into Remix, and then we could get jobs helping everybody move from Next into React into Remix.
That would be honestly kind of cool. All right, I restarted the JavaScript TypeScript. Okay, looks like we're still having a problem. And why? Oh, I did
Have
it
we lo-
again, didn't I?
have we
No, hold
loaded?
on. No, I. Okay, hold on. It's because I started a new terminal, which is the wrong level.
Oh,
And in the future, I'll probably just. Well, actually, I don't know if that even fixes it since it's all in the same repo. I'm not sure how to just open up straight to this default.
mm.
To the default right level. Let me just uninstall Prisma here, and then I'll delete these.
Oh, you're one level up and did that.
Which is funny. I thought I'd actually already taken care of that, but apparently not. Okay, so we're going to cd into to remix cd to do app. Cool. All right, now let's run some Prisma. And hopefully the correct package.json will be updated.
Boom.
Yes, there we go. Okay. Now you. What if I do that? Client doesn't like, client does like, doesn't like. Just restart the TypeScript server. Sometimes this fixes it. we have Prisma set up in here. And I guess, did I have to run a command? Time to go back into Prisma. React, we'll say. Get started with Prisma. Quick start. Okay, no. This is not what I'm looking for. From scratch. Okay, good. Okay, npx prisma init. Let's try that. Oh, a folder called Prisma already exists. Okay. You know what? Maybe. Why would this be happening? Cannot find module Prisma client or its corresponding type declarations. And yet, in here, I do have Prisma installed.
Can you look in node modules and see if that at Prisma, is that just like right there? At Prisma slash what?
Slash oops, client.
At Prisma.
Oh my gosh. Where were we at Prisma? Well, I don't see clients in here.
Client isn't there.
There's a, hold on. Command for generating client Prisma. Prisma generates, that's what it was.
Ah, I vaguely remember. Oh, so the client is something that is generated based on like the schema files and stuff that we have?
Oh, and that's why they're asking us
that?
to include a schema file first. Okay,
We
so
have our
that's something
schema
else I
file.
need to migrate.
Yeah.
We do have our schema file. I'm just gonna, can I
We've
copy
been
just this whole thing?
schemaing.
Hey-o.
I don't know. That's really bad. Certified
But we
dad.
love it, Spencer. Hey, you are a dad. That's okay.
I've always thought schema was such a odd word. As soon as I started hearing it in development world, it's just like schema. Just you don't hear that word anywhere else.
No, I suppose not.
What's a schema?
Okay.
Hey,
You're
look at
not
that.
angry at this anymore. Okay, beautiful. And then I guess the last thing is npx prisma run dev. No, that wasn't it.
Do we have to do a migration?
Oh, migrate dev. That's what it is. I said run dev. That's the. That's
Like we're running a Prisma development server? Or like what's
migrate dev? I think that's it.
Is that?
Nope. Variable not found. Oh, database URL. So I have to stop sharing for a second. Add my env. So I guess that's inside to do app. Just as a refresher for anyone that's confused why I stopped sharing just now, I need to add my super secret password for my connection to the database. Inside of this new project, I'm adding it to my env file, which is not tracked by GitHub. Therefore,
Should never be tracked.
Yeah, by design, it is not tracked. It lives on my device, or in the production environment, we would set it up there as well. But I don't want to share it with you all so that you don't have access to my super important and secret database.
I'm gonna get your API key and just like run up the database charges. Get you above that free account threshold.
Nothing like it. Beautiful. And what we're doing now is we're running a migration that's going to essentially generate all of the SQL or SQL that will run and allow us to communicate with the actual database itself. If you look back while this is happening, we need to reset the public schema. All data will be lost. We're going to lose all of our business, but that's okay.
Oh, the
This is super
tasks that are
important.
already there?
We need new tasks anyway.
Bummer. Yeah, I mean, that's true.
This is a thing that happens with migration sometimes. We're not really changing the name, like the shape of any of the data, but I'm not sure why this actually has to delete, but something to investigate another time, I think. We're going to call this migration remix migration. And generate the client. Beautiful. Okay.
So my question now is, if I boot up the next version and I add a to-do over here, it's going to go to the same database. Will it just drop down into the Remix app as well because it's connected to the same source?
When you say will it drop down, what do you mean by it?
Like if I was running the next version of our app and add a to-do, and that goes to the database, and you're in the Remix version of our app and then pull from the database,
Hmm.
it would just end up there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Theoretically, at least.
Because now the idea of connecting the database was to just like pull down our to-dos and like display something on the screen, but now the to-dos are gone.
Yeah, this is
So
true.
if you want, I can boot
Do
up
you want to add
the
some?
next version. I can add something on our end.
Oh, that would be so useful.
Okay. Well, I'll get right on that then.
In the meantime, I will push these changes.
Um,
Gorgeous. Okay, let's navigate back over here. So that was a lot of changes. That's all just to get the Prisma ORM reinstalled. So here is my next page.tsx for the to-do route. Yeah, I guess I'm interested in all the different ways that we're supposed to fetch data in Remix. One thing I haven't done yet is actually fetch from a database. Let me, while you're doing this, look up like how is the loader configured.
So
To fetch.
it'll be on the to-do page the route page. We'll
But should I be
export.
using fetch API or should I be creating?
Well,
Because they do
does
have server actions as well.
Prisma has like, do we have a Prisma client that we like an SDK that we're using, or
Well,
were we
no,
just calling straight to Prisma? Oh, sorry.
that's what I'm unsure of. Is it like where I will here? Hold on a sec. Export const loader. Oops. Is it the kind of thing where I'll like just do Prisma commands in the loader directly, or do we need to?
I think
Oh,
so.
okay, gotcha. Very cool. I like that.
Now, I think we could probably extract them. We could make a TS file for our like Prisma actions or something, and then itemize them inside of an external file, and then bring those in and execute them in the loader. But maybe for the right now, we could just do something in the loader and then worry about extracting it after the fact.
Does Remix have? How do I import? Do I just have to use? Oops. Oh, I suppose so.
Do we have to? Do we need to set up absolute pathing?
Absolute paths in Remix.
Oops.
Route configuration is not quite what I was looking for. Da, 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 Meta function. That's something to look into for the future, I think. Interestingly, there's not a lot of in their quick start, or I think even their tutorial, there was not a lot of like pulling from other files directly. They're like pulling from packages basically,
Hmm.
or importing is what I really mean to say.
Ah,
Like none of these are other files that they import from. Just wanted to get an idea of how they are
yeah, how you set up
importing.
absolute pathing.
Yeah, have to do that later, I suppose. Okay. Um, that said, we have Prisma in here. So what I would probably do is so we're looking for tasks equals Prisma dot. Gosh, gotta remember my Prisma commands. Let's hit our API. Prisma.task.find mini. Let's just take this whole line. And is that okay? It's okay to have the loader be async, apparently.
Yeah, I think that's just fine.
Oh, must import JSON from Remix
From the node, I
node,
think.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Okay, so far so good. And then in here,
I really enjoy this pattern. I really enjoy this like loader function and then use loader data and you just snag your data.
oh, I have to bring in use loader data as well. I like that too. Once I have these memorized, oh gosh,
It's
is it
React.
also Node? Oh, it's
Yeah,
React.
it's React because it's a hook. From.
Uh,
You're missing the from.
oh, oh gosh, thank you. Like, are you sure it's React?
I'm pretty sure, yes. And then how about you
Okay,
just console log that data?
let's see. Okay, let's see what happens then. Expected this but found data. That this feels like that's from an old.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
There it is. That's me.
Nice. Look at that.
Hello from
Here's our data.
Next.js. So yeah,
Okay.
we've just like that. We've got Prisma hooked up in the Remix app and pulling it on the server side and sending it down.
Okay. So next thing I'm thinking is, can we just set up our tasks? I'm gonna try to leave the suspense out for now. And what I mean by that is these suspense boundaries. I know these are still available in React, but I kind of just want to not deal with that for a second. Go ahead and do this. We will need to type our task as before. So these are all things that can be done. First things first, we're going to say, can I call this tasks?
Yep. I think you should be able to.
Task is of type unknown. Okay, let me.
Or do we have to destructure it, or do we have to edit? Okay.
Okay, well that fixed this.
Ha! Look at that.
Oh, and then this
Type of
doesn't
loader.
exist.
That's the magic to remember right there. Type of loader.
And then let's get our task type, shall we? You know, I was thinking, I've been watching some videos on TypeScript, and how best to utilize it. And I think there's a better way for us to manage the idea that an idea is not always available
Okay.
that we might consider doing in the future. And maybe
Absolutely.
that could be like a topic for next time. Um, for now, I will just pop this in here. And actually,
Can we still
maybe
do
I'll
a
pop.
global uh what is that? The global.d, what is that? It's a declaration file. Can we still do a declaration file in Remix?
Um,
Or is that a next thing? Because
I think we can. Let's
that's a
try.
global file.
Let's try. Where did I put you? Types, where are you? Oh, here. Okay. I'm just gonna copy this. Copy types.
Hmm.
And it looks like that was on the same level as Prisma, right? Oh, no, no. Types was inside of app. Okay, we'll do it that way. Very cool. It does seem to have worked. We now have task available to us in here. And actually, I was wondering if I should be doing something more like a task array. Then do I even need this? No. Very cool.
Sorry, I was just looking at something else. What are you doing?
I just typed the tasks up in the
Oh.
loader
Oh, okay, yeah.
instead of typing it down here. I just think this is a little easier to read.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
excellent. Now, can we just import our task component so that we don't have to rebuild that? Let's just copy this. We'll put it inside of our components folder. Let's just leave the trash out of it for now. We don't need delete task or icon button or really any of this. um, just gonna get rid of this real quick, just to keep things simple. Okay, cool. And we are exporting task. Love it. Import task from. Oh, actually,
Yeah, default export.
that's right. So components task. Excellent. Well, TypeScript's happy.
Okay. And when TypeScript's happy.
Hey, there it is.
Ah, yeah, and we still got the
There's even
CSS
some
styling on it.
some minimal styling. Nice. Okay. Oof.
Well, that's pretty
What
cool.
a
That's pretty fun.
what a sprint that this has been thus far.
Yeah. So porting over into Remix is so far. I mean, what we've done so far has been like, kind of basic, but
Pretty minimal. Yeah.
also pretty free of headaches.
So far so good. I mean I you can see why why ChatGPT, why OpenAI potentially did this.
Yeah.
I'm sure theirs was a fair bit more complicated than what we're dealing with, but all the
Their
same,
app is just a little bit bigger than ours, but it's
but only. I mean,
yeah,
let's not get too precious about it,
it's
right?
negligible, really. Let's not start comparing app sizes, all right?
I want to try this. I haven't imported Suspense. Anything from React yet? Like directly, I mean. Will this fix this? Will it?
It should
It
work.
will.
I was looking at their process for form validation, and they were using a suspense wrapper in there as well. So this should be just fine. So if you go back and you refresh, does that give us a loading? Oh,
It's
it's too
too
fast.
fast.
Too
It's way too
fast.
fast.
Remix
Does
and Vite
Remix
are too
cache?
fast.
Does Remix cache loader data? That doesn't make sense. I don't suppose it would. Remix client cache is a powerful lightweight library made for Remix. Run to cache rich server loader data on the client using client loaders.
Mm.
Huh.
So it's through something else. It's not by default. It looks like.
Yeah, yeah, it's not. Next out of the box is caching a lot of things, sometimes to an annoying effect.
Mm.
And apparently, Remix is doing the opposite. They are not caching a damn thing.
There was I didn't stop to like fully look at it, but something that I'll have to go back and look at is that video tutorial I watched through did a quick comparison of like Next and Remix, and there are
Mm-hmm.
some like high level differences. I'm blanking on exactly how that worked. It had some one of the things was about. Let me see if I can just. I'm gonna just try and find that screenshot real quick. But I thought part of it had to do with like server side by default versus not server side by default, and um,
Just making sure we have all this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm very curious about what those things are because Remix does have some amount of server versus client architecture.
yeah, and
For
some
one,
interesting
you,
stuff there that I don't remember all the specifics, but kind of about when it chooses to do something client side versus server side, and how you can kind of control that, and it's not with like use server or use client like we're used to in Next.
that is correct.
Let
Is
me see if
correct.
I
Why are
can.
these node modules here? Oh, probably from earlier. Gonna delete this folder. Okay. So what have we done so far? We've essentially imported a great deal of the functionality of our previous app. So since we're not building a Next anymore, we're not utilizing these API routes, which honestly even themselves seem to be somewhat going out of style. Though I do see them used here and there, but we had also started utilizing server actions um, to accomplish things like adding tasks, getting tasks, all that good stuff. Um, and it thus far, at least in terms of performing data fetches, just grabbing data, it looks like we've been able to replace most of that with the loader inside of Remix, which is I think one of its selling points.
Hmm.
Oh gosh, I'm in the wrong one. Where am I? I need routes. Getting used to a new file structure. This handy loader, the reason you export it is because it is, I forget how you put this, it's like a protected keyword.
Hmm.
The loader inside of each component file is available as to load data for that particular file. So this loader,
Remix connects them on kind of behind the scenes.
yeah, there you go. So that's why if I were to use this kind of syntax elsewhere in a different component file, it would not work the same, and that's good. We don't want it to. I suppose the last thing we could try to do is see if we can get this to do form up and try to like add something from Remix.
We use an action, a remix
Yes.
action.
So let's make TypeScript mad. Da, 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 da. So back into our app, we're going to grab our to do form. I'm loving not having to rebuild these these components. Oh, not that. Paste. It is quite the luxury. Okay, we're going to get rid of all of this. We'll probably want to add our constants back in. Cool.
And then I think there's a bunch here that's going to simplify drastically.
Think so too. Uh,
Like we don't need the handle submit.
we don't need that. We don't. I want to like not change too much at the outset. I think
Okay.
we'll probably not need this button. I guess we could maybe bring the button in from other
We can
places,
still
right?
use a button because it's going to be a customized button, but
Let's do that. Let's also bring the button in since we're making it easy on ourselves. Button. Who's got the button? Copy. And paste. Okay. Button has been implemented successfully. You don't like button is from here though. There we go.
Hmm.
Okay, and I guess we'll pull in text input as well.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the work done on those. We should keep using them.
Text input doesn't like something. Oh, no, it likes everything. Life is good. And I just have to bring it in. Cool.
Then we're also going to want to bring in the remix form component at some point.
Spinner gap too. That's right. Where was spinner gap coming from? Oh, it's a third-party icon.
Yeah, our third-party directory.
We'll just do this for now. Gosh, that's not going to work, is it? Well, then let me just...
You can just replace it with text. That's fine. You don't have to do
will
the
that
icon.
work?
Yeah, you can just replace it with loading as text.
I don't think it likes that. Icon. Stringer null is not assignable to React.
Oh, okay, because of the type in there and stuff. Yeah. So
yeah.
can we bring in our? Now the thing in here is that we did this because I wonder if this pattern works here. I mean, we don't need to use client.
I just wanted to make sure. Is it just npm I at phosphor icons?
That's a good question. Let me
check the package.json.
Heading over to their docs right now.
Well, these are dev dependencies. Oh, it's at phosphor icons /react.
All right, you got there before I did.
Nice. Okay.
I'm curious about that because this is like a a client side library, and Remix is doing all of this server side by default. So I'm curious how that's going to work.
I suppose we should pull our priority options in also. We'll need these constants here and there. I'm going to copy that. And constants was what? That was on the same level as
I think put it in app, so like app and constants, because it's part. That's just kind of seems like everything that we're going to be doing goes under the under the app directory. Because app is no longer the router like it is in Next.
We'll have to redo this a little. Oops. There we go. And then handle submit is the only thing. And so you're saying we won't need this. We'll be using a separate form component. Is that right?
Yeah. So the handle submit, we're not going to need that because we're going to be doing this through a form action. So the same way that we kind of shifted our Next.js app to be over to using a server action, we're going to be doing a server action here as well.
So it'll be serve.
No, I think it's React. I think it's still React because it's a component.
Oh, it's from React. Gotcha. It's not a Remix.
Remix run React is what I mean.
Oh, gotcha.
You're right there. Yeah, Remix run / yeah. I think that's where it's going to come from.
Okay.
And then we're gonna.
So I'm just gonna get rid of all this.
Sure.
Cool. And then, so it will replace just this form.
Yeah. Remove the whole on submit section. I think leave everything. I think we can remove the ref as well, because the ref had to do with our setting the form. I don't think we have to do that anymore, because this form component for Remix, I still need to dig further into it, but it does a lot for us.
Okay, and what is unhappy here? To do form. Oh, let me import this. Okay. Whew.
It's going to be awesome to see all this just snap too.
I agree. Put these out for now too.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, not what I wanted, but anyway, just gray out things we don't think we need. Yeah, and so I guess we have
So
this loading
yeah,
state.
so
We might still want that, huh?
no, actually, the Remix will have a different way of doing that now,
Oh, okay.
and that's going to have to do with the action. Yeah, you could take it off for right, like you could leave the button, maybe just put in a baseline button with submit. Yeah, I think that's right. I think
Okay.
that'll be good.
Okay.
Oh, look at that! It looks exactly the same.
It's back.
That's kind of
uh,
fun. That's kind of sweet.
this task was created in Remix. Okay. The only thing is, I guess there's no submit. What
Oh, the
happened to my
button.
button?
What happened? Yeah, that's
Very strange.
It doesn't. I mean, we probably still need a label.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Let's just
so leave that one there commented, and then just create a new label because I think we're gonna
gotcha.
come back to this loading idea. But for now, just create the label submit. There it is.
Nice. Oh. Okay. So I guess nothing's going to happen if I press submit because
Right.
we haven't configured that yet. Now
Yep.
this is what I'm most interested in. Um, what happens? So how do we do this?
We
Is
need
this where we pull
to.
in the action?
Yes, that's going to be the action. So we need to const export action as a function.
Okay.
I have a vague understanding. I'm going to move over here to the docs and see if I can maybe talk us through some of this. Now the question is where. Well, let's see if how much of this I remember.
Okay.
So the action is going to be triggered. Like the remix form component, when a submit button is submitted within their form component, the action is triggered, and then
Hmm.
we will receive data here as a prop into this function, and I
Okay.
think you can
Into this
destructure that.
function.
Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting just to console log whatever comes in there because we're going to be pulling. It's going to be a form data at some level. I'm not sure if it's like it's going to be. Yeah, I think you can just call it data, and then
Like that.
I'm not sure if it's form data at that level or if we have to destructure once. Can we? Is it possible to just console log just the straight data and see what we're getting there? Yeah.
Do I need to apply action anywhere, or it just knows when I submit a form?
Oh, that's a good point. Um, defining the action. Let's see what we got for. Da, da, da. That's validation. So we have our form. So on the form, I think we need to add a method of post, is what I'm seeing here.
Like this. Seems right.
I think it could be lowercase. I'm seeing lowercase over here, lowercase
Oh, really?
post.
How strange.
And then our inputs will each have a type and a name. And then we have a button of type submit. And then we have our action. Oh, we can destructure in the action props. We can destructure request.
Oh, so this is a
It's a request to the form.
request.
Yeah, it's going to be request there because it's
Okay.
receiving the request, right? This is an API call if you want to think of it that way, from our front
Oh, I
end to our
see.
back end. So you
And
put
what's coming in the request? So is it like
oh no,
body?
like request is the word that you're destructuring.
Oh, from here.
Yes, And then inside of the function, we can do request.formData as a function call, and that will return our form data. So
Got it.
const form data equals await request.formData execute.
Like this?
Capital D on form data.
Gotcha.
And then we should be able.
We have to type this, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
and the type is action function args, and then that is imported from remix run node.
okay.
Oh, it's import type because it's a type that we're importing.
Oops.
Love it. Love it. Because I know the pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I think we can console log the form data, and we'll see what we get there.
Didn't like that. 405, method not allowed.
Nothing a refresh can't solve. Did you try submitting it and you got that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's try again though.
Yes, let's.
Test the post. Error route does not have an action. Please add an action function to the route. Oh gosh.
Oh wait, are we building? Did we put the action inside the component? We did.
Yeah, so this has to go inside the route, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's. Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
Yep. Okay. And then
Okay.
the imports. My bad. Or
No, not at all. Honestly, I think this is a good thing for us to run into.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
we
we'll
need
this.
Yeah, couple the type. Yeah, at least that type. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we're back to liking that. Good. Test the post. Whoa. Okay. Defined an action, but didn't return anything. Oh, of course.
Oh. You could.
That's fine.
Sure. We're really figuring out all the subtleties of what it really wants from us, huh?
It's holding our hand and being only kind of gentle. Oh, okay. Yeah. So form data.
Yep. Task name, description, priority. There it is.
Okay. Then within the, so where do we perform the post request? Is this now where we fetch?
Yeah. So I think here now in the action, we've received the data from the form. So now this is like on our back end, right? We've received the information from the front end, and now we're going to pass that on to Prisma.
Like, oh yeah, I forgot. We don't have to fetch. Oh my gosh.
Yep, you can just
keep wanting to use fetch. It's still fetch.
Stop trying to make fetch happen, Courtney. It's not going to happen.
Oh, that's great. Okay, hold on. Time for reference. Task.create.
Well, this was also where we were creating our created at date and stuff, but we can worry about that later.
That we can and that we will. Here, actually, what would probably be more helpful would be this. Okay. Right. Object. So for data.
Although, will it accept it if we don't have created at an ID in there? Is going to enforce that?
No.
Okay.
No, we will not. I'm pretty sure. So we'll need to institute that as well. So here we go. Rebuilding our app slowly but surely. Where does random UUID come from?
That's just built into our JavaScript.
Oh, it is. It's not.
That's native. Yep. It's like the math
Oh,
object or something. Yep.
no, it comes from crypto. Oh, but crypto is built in.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you're right. There is an import, but yeah, it's the crypto module that's in JavaScript now. Probably specifically in Node.js. I don't know.
I think that is
I
correct.
think it is Node specifically.
Okay, so we'll say const ID equals random UUID. Created at is just now. I just copy this. What am I doing? What am I, a noob? Yes. Okay, and then we already saw that the form data. So, will this be like form data.get?
I think so.
It's like,
Yes. Yeah. So
yeah, okay.
we can get well, let's see. We've got that
So,
body request.
so what was in the body? It's task name, description, and priority. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So I guess I'll just build them all from scratch. Const name equals oh gosh, form data dot get task name, I think.
Yep. It looks right.
Description, and what was the other one? Okay, priority. We'll do the same over here.
That's where you could have used that multi cursor.
I know, I thought about it as soon as I finished. I was like, oh man, I could have done it. I've already forgotten how to do that too.
Control click.
Control
Hold
click.
control and click.
Created at, just because I like the order to match up. We're going to name, description, priority. Priority. Oh, yeah. What's the problem here? Type file is not assignable to type string. Type file. It didn't dislike name. Okay, so let's go back here. Oh, wrong one. Oh, well, I guess I can look at a different part. Oh, no, I need the form. Input type. Oh, it's a text area, but that's fine, right?
Yeah, it should just be text. It worked before.
Form data addresses ID?
It's name. It's looking for
It's
name.
name. Okay.
And that's what we have, right? We're getting name, task name, name description, name
That's right.
priority. So then when you do form data.get, it should just be pulling the value associated with that name.
Type null is not assignable to type number, but it is not null. But it is, oh, or no. Okay, hold on. So, and why is name allowed to be null? Form data entry value. Okay. Real quick, I'm just gonna change this up.
Try. This is doing the same thing that we're doing, but it's wrapping it in the string constructor, form data.get, and then like name or something. It's wrapping all of that within the capital S string constructor in the it.
Okay. Say that again. I'm sorry.
So like for the description, go up to the so form data dot get description.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that, put that in parentheses and cast it with the string constructor. So we're going to pass
Oh,
that
you
whole
mean
thing to this. I guess that seems to have worked.
Oh, is this supposed to be a number? What is the type of priority?
Uh, it might be it looks like it's a string. I guess that works too.
It's not string. It's not assignable to type number. Maybe it's a number.
I guess it's coming in as a string, but we want it to be a number.
Okay, what was I doing in the routes? Oh, we were just spreading it from the body. I don't feel
Can
like we should
you
have to typecast it though.
uh, can you try
Mhm.
wrapping it in the string constructor? So get rid of or let's try it with the number just to see, because the string thing apparently worked. Get rid of that. Get rid of the as number, and then
Oh, you're saying like
go back to there, and yeah, capital string, and then wrap that. Yeah. Now, try the number constructor instead of the string constructor. And
that
then
fixed this one.
try you could do either as string, or you could try the string constructor on name. I'm just looking at the docs, and they have everything wrapped in the string constructor.
This is a different issue though.
Okay.
The expected type comes from property data.
Oh, name is a protected uh, name, right? It should be task
Gotcha,
name.
gotcha. Okay, right.
That's a protected word,
Hold on, didn't fix that
or
either.
reserved.
Okay,
Reserved word.
reserved. There you go. Okay.
Okay, it just keeps moving.
String description, string private number, ID, string. Good. It's not assignable to type.
Completed is missing, but we didn't pass that before.
Oh, but maybe
Or did
we
we?
set that.
Is it in the body?
It's in the body probably.
Completed.
Completed is false.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, we're getting there. So I guess we could do either the string constructor or the as string, whichever one you kind of prefer up there.
I think
Leave
I
both for.
prefer the string constructor, truthfully. I like the type coercion when we know when it's like a env variable. Like this is never going to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
I guess someone could potentially somehow not submit a string here, but I actually am not sure if that's possible the way we have it set up. But anyway, we'll go with this for
It's
now.
interesting that the form data.get should return a string, but it's not. So
Yeah,
that must be like
yeah.
a form data thing. I don't know, because we're
This is
type.
worth some other investigation. I
Yeah,
think. I think
I
there's
think
something going on between Prisma, TypeScript, and this that we're missing
the form data
because there's
object.
typings on all three of those entities.
Uh-huh. Makes
That's
sense.
always the thing, isn't it? Okay.
But that's looking fly, I think.
So now, and it returns a new task. I don't know where we use that, but it does return it.
So then we should see it pop up.
Yes.
Ah!
Yes. All right. Let's go.
Okay.
And we're happy, no errors.
There it
Look
is.
at that. That's gorgeous.
And we didn't have to do a manual like revalidate path call.
Yeah, we didn't have
Like
to do
in
all that.
next. We didn't have to do, next request, next response. It's just much more streamlined. Now, my curiosity now, I don't think we have time to do it at the moment, but would be to take everything we have inside of this action function and extract it to a function, an external function, and then
That just runs
we
with
would
this as the
we would
input.
probably like pass in the
Mm,
form data. Like we could pull the
yeah.
request.form data, we pass the form data into the function so that all of this in this area just becomes one line, right? Like save to DB or something, or save to Prisma or whatever it might be.
Right, right, right.
And
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
it would just be much more clean in this file, and we could just extract the logic elsewhere. And then we could just build a file with all of our actions per for like associated to each route maybe, or each component, or whatever it might be, but however you want to organize that. But I don't see why that wouldn't work if we just turned that into a function in another place, imported it, put it in there.
Yeah, you can see the strength too. So yeah, I agree that this logic was all better fit probably in a different file. But then once it is, look how simple all of this actually
I
looks.
know. Well,
You know, it's
the
just
action would become like 3 lines.
the action's 3 lines, the loader is itself about 3 lines, and then even the component is. Yeah, I mean, obviously we have a task component in here in a to-do form, but like this is pretty manageable. It's
Hmm.
easy to see, easy to
Easy to
take
digest.
care of. And then the action does seem to reload because as soon as we entered the task,
Yeah.
we had a refresh, or I'm actually not sure if it was a refresh, but dynamically our page was updated
Yep.
with the new data.
I've heard it or read it explained a couple of times, and I wouldn't be able to reiterate it well. But yeah, it Remix is watching for these form updates for the actions, and then it revalidates um, the route that is affected. I don't know the technical jargon behind all of that, but yes, it just kind of takes care of that, which is pretty cool. Already very smooth.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, we had a lot of this work already set up. We didn't have to from the ground up build our Prisma client and everything involved with that. We didn't have to work out a lot of this logic, but even with all that taken into account, this was a pretty smooth process. Um,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the fact
I'm
that we're able to just like copy paste our components over and run with it, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was not too hard. You can see why. One of the first things I thought when I heard that OpenAI had migrated was, wow, what a nightmare it must have been to take an app like that and have to exchange frameworks. Like that
Mhm.
just seemed like almost like that the process would be so prohibitive to making the switch that you wouldn't do it. But I mean, most of what we've done didn't have to be changed.
Right. Right.
We the
The
really
existing
what had to
React
be
work
changed.
is just there. And then even our logic. I mean, you nearly
Yeah,
could have just copy pasted from the next the all that logic you just went through for like grabbing the stuff out of the form data and then submitting it in the new body and stuff. You retyped it. You pretty much could have just copy pasted that over, made a couple of small modifications, and away we go. So
yeah,
um, that's pretty cool.
it's pretty sweet.
I dig it. I dig it. I'm
I have
excited
to
to
say.
do more with this.
Well, maybe we'll continue next week with a little bit of styling. I'm sure that's going to work very similarly to how
Yeah.
it already does. We can import our color scheme since we're using Tailwind still.
Yeah.
That should be a pretty easy port.
One
Yeah, this is exciting.
another thing that's cool here that this is just helping to clarify is a bit of like where React's ends and like next starts,
Mm,
because now we're seeing like what React things we're grabbing and bringing over here, and what was strictly next, and like we're those borders are at least becoming more clear to me, just because we're seeing no this is all React stuff because it still works here, and then how Next and Remix handle the full stack application differently kind of helped to solidify where those borders. Does that make sense?
totally. I think it's really easy. We've used it Next so much recently, and then I feel like it's just a sort of the framework in the ecosystem right now, the React ecosystem. It's easy to forget that they're not synonymous.
Yeah. Hmm.
That Next is not the only way to use React or necessarily even the best way. I mean, still quite a strong framework to use,
Absolutely.
um, but I'm here. I am falling in love with Remix.
It's pretty cool. It's it's fresh and
It is
new and
fresh.
fun. It's like a new set of guitar strings. Is that the right analogy? Maybe.
Maybe, maybe because they do get old too.
And you put new ones on there and just like, "Oh, I kinda wanna play my bass again." Like,
Yeah.
this is nice. Yeah.
It's different for bass, just as a musical aside, because, guitar players seem to need to change their strings a lot more because you wanna
Mhm.
maintain that brightness in the
Yeah.
sound. Whereas with bass, there's actually an advantage also to deader strings. You get
Mhm.
more of that thumpy, kind of
Less of the
traditional R&B
overtone.
sound. Yeah. But to your point, fresh strings also have their own, bite and brightness that is really nice on a
Yeah.
bass. So, it
Or like
depends.
new drum heads, right? Your drum heads just kinda get
There you
dull
go.
and old after a while. You put fresh ones on, tune them all up
They
nice, and
just snap.
you can, like, really hear the tone of your drums again coming through in a more
Mm,
pure
mm.
way. Yeah. Very cool. So this was super fun to watch and be involved in. I'm really excited for what we do next week. We'll probably come back to, like you said, back to remix and doing a little bit more there. Um, we should check out. Well, we were going to do the loading thing, right? Like try to change the button to be loading. I think I have an idea as to how we do that, which is again super streamlined and different than how you have to do it in next. Um, and then we could also look at
Spencer.
form validation.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we should definitely look into that. I was gonna say we should try to run some benchmark tests.
Ooh.
Now that we have pretty much the same thing, we should make sure that they're pretty equal in terms of
Yeah.
what they do, but, like, uh, just compare Next to Remix and see what's operating quicker or more performant, and maybe we can find ways to measure that. That's something I'm really interested in.
That would be interesting. I've never really done any benchmarking, so
Mm,
that'd be an interesting one to dive into.
very cool. Me neither.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. This was super fun. We had really enjoyed our time, and we will be back next week with more.
Woohoo, see you on the 11th.
All right. See you, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Peace, everyone.
Cool. I'm gonna end our live stream here. Um,